Hey everyone, Stephanie here, coffee drinker, book lover, and reviewer of many things, and today I have a book review for you. So, I couldn't find my normal big sheets of my book challenges, so we're just gonna have to use my small one that's in here. So, I read Bunnicula off of the 2026 Preteen Teen Reading Challenge, and I'm so excited that I get to read you. I get to read my review out of my new journal. Bunnicula. I had this in book form. This is mine from high school, junior high. I think I read it in junior high and then I got it in high school. I don't know. But I read it. I actually read it with my kiddo, and yeah. So I'm gonna read you the back, and then I'm gonna read you my review, and then I'm probably gonna give some spoilers because this book. Move over, Dracula. It looks like an ordinary bunny to Harold, but Harold was a dog by profession, so his judgment wasn't reliable, as he was first to admit. But Chester, Harold's good friend and housemate, was a very well-read cat, and he knew there was something strange about Bunnicula. For one, he seemed to have fangs, and the odd markings on his back looked like a little cape. But when Chester starts finding white vegetables, drained dry, with 2 fang marks in them, he is sure Bunnicula is a vampire bunny. So it was up to Chester, with Harold's help, to alert the family in their household before another carrot was lost, because, as Chester warned, today vegetables, tomorrow the world. Yeah. So now I'm gonna read you my little review out of my book. And this was actually the 8th book that I had read. I've listened or read a lot of books this year, I chose orange for the pen that I used because my book is orange. That was it. But that's the picture that was the only picture I could find online. So title, Bunnicula, author, Deborah and James Howe, start date, January 3rd, 2026, finish date, January 12th, 2026. I gave this 3.5 stars, and I'll explain why in a little bit. There is no spice in this book. You can't... Those are supposed to be little chili peppers. There was no spice. What I recommend... Oh, wait, genre. Children's fantasy. Children's animal fantasy. What I recommend? Yes. My 5-year-old also recommends it. Pages or hours. I looked it up, and this is 1 hour and 34 minutes if you get it to listen to, and it has 98 pages. Chapters. It has 9 chapters. More by this author. The rest of the Bunnicula series. I think there's like 7 books. A series called Misfits. So I wrote down that there are 4 books, and Houndsley and Katina. Favorite character is Chester, hands down, even though he's also not the nicest character. My favorite quote, I put favorite quote, that's kind of a spoiler. So I'm going to save my quote for after my review. That way, if you want to not have any spoilers for the book, you won't have any spoilers for the book. I don't think my review has really real spoilers. Okay. Review. This book was written for 6th graders. You can tell because some of the words feel like they're dropped in. Like normal people don't just throw some of these words around. I enjoyed Bunnicula. Apparently this book was a banned book because of vampire and the way Chester talks. Chester is kind of mean, but his meanness is either ignored or foiled by him getting into trouble. Bunnicula is a vampire, but only sucks the juice out of vegetables, so... I love in the beginning Harold is on Chester's side until he realizes Bunnicula isn't hurting anyone, and now he's starving. I like that it feels like you are actually listening to the cat and dog talk. That was actually my kiddo's review, and I wanted to put it in here. So before I do my quote, I wanted to say this book is really funny. In the beginning, there is this editor's note in the front that talks about how the book you are about to read is brought to my attention in the most unusual way. One Friday afternoon, just before closing, I heard a scratching on the front door of my office. When I opened the door, there before me stood a sad-eyed, droopy-eared dog carrying a large plain envelope in his mouth. He dropped it at my feet, gave me a soulful glance, and with great quiet dignity sauntered away. Inside the envelope was the manuscript for this book you are holding in your hands, together with this letter. And so there's a letter of, oops. Too many my pages got stuck together. There's some water damage. Talks about, the letter talks about how, it's Harold who's dropping it off, and I come to write purely by chance. My full-time occupation is dog. And talks about, he lives with these people and all this stuff. And they were just a typical American family. And so I think it's just really cute how it starts that way. And then in the end, the way it ends is also sort of like, okay, I'm gonna go be a dog now. So it's really cute. So I said in my review, now we're gonna get into some spoilery bits. So if you don't want spoilers, you can give me a thumbs up if you like this video. I do recommend it for 6th grade and up. Yeah. The only thing that's a little bit wrong with this book, I felt like, was sometimes Chester was mean. And he said idiot, which I changed in this to, you're just not smart. Because I thought idiot was a bit harsh when I was reading it out loud. And the way Chester handles things is a little over dramatic. So if you have a 6th grader that will read this book, or when they see or hear about someone doing something, they have to do it, maybe don't let them read this. But I didn't, like I said, I read it to my 5-year-old. She's also a little mimic, so we haven't had any problems. It's been it's been like 5 days since I've read this book. I don't see a problem with this book. But it's a cute vampire book. There's no gore, there's no death. There's no, I mean, there's some torture. I mean, obviously Chester is doing all the stuff that he's read in a book that you're supposed to take care of, get rid of vampires, ward off vampires. He takes everything to the extreme. My spoiler is gonna come if you stay around, because one of the extremes, he doesn't use the right thing. And it's really hilarious. Anyway, so if you don't want any spoilers for this book, go ahead and like this video, comment below if you're going to read this book, if you're going to let your kid read this book. If you have any questions about the book, you can leave them in the comment section. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. If you're not sure, you can go to my channel and check out some of my other videos. I do a lot of book videos. Subscribe. Yeah. We could be friends. And then share this video for someone else who wants to know about Bunnicula. Alright? You can move on. It will not hurt my feelings. But my spoilers are coming now. Okay, so my quote is, actually, it's a quote from the book. It's not like words, like they're not speaking it. He dragged the stake, like the steak you eat, across the floor and laid it across the inert bunny. Then, with his paws, he began to hit the steak at the bunny. Keller! Stop yelling! You're not going outside! So the scene is really funny because through the book is actually kind of tame. Like, there's like barely anything happens until about halfway through. Starts with Chester once there's also some little pictures. This is an older book, so the pictures aren't that great. But it starts with Chester wants to read this book to Harold and wants him to, look in at the book. And so he's like, well, come on, get up in the chair with me. And he's like, Harold's like, nah, this isn't going to work. And Chester's like, will you just get up here already? And he's just very like, come on. And so Harold's like, okay, and so he jumps up there, and when he lands on the cushion, the cat goes flying. Yeah. And when he sits down, he's like, what are you doing on the floor? And Chester's like, you knocked me off of the chair. Now, just stay there. I'll come back up. This is when Chester starts really getting into, like, halfway through the book. My book's discolored. Halfway through the book is when Chester is, like, really adamant. He's like, this bunny is a vampire. And, Harold's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, well, why would you say that? Well, think about it. He has fangs. Okay, I have fangs. You have fangs. Are we vampires too? Oh, but look at the mark on his back. It looks like a cape. You have markings on you too. Chester just comes back. He's like, no. He's like, oh, but what movie did they find him in? They went to go see Dracula. Yes, that proves my point. You know, they found him in Dracula, and he had that note with the weird language on him. And Harold's like, I could read that weird language. And so Chester has his vampire book out, and it's just really funny. And Harold's just like, no, it's just, he just eat, whatever. He's just eating the vegetables and all of that stuff. And they go through some different. Chester goes into his act as chapter 5. So Chester stops sleeping at night. He kind of gets deranged because he's not sleeping. And Chester gets in trouble for a lot of stuff. Chester gets a bunch of garlic and spreads it all, like surrounds the rabbit's cage, and wears garlic around his neck and makes Harold put some garlic on, and Harold's like, no. Mm-mm. And it goes to the point where Chester is so like, you have to put this garlic on, that when Harold walks away, he turns to walk away, Chester bites his tail and like holds on to him. And he's like, you're not leaving this room until you put this on. He still had Harold's tail in his teeth, and Harold just says, it's not nice. It's not polite to talk with your mouth full, Chester. Drop that tail. And wouldn't you know, Chester gets a bath because of all of the garlic. That silly woman doesn't know that cats don't get baths. My cat gets a bath, so. But it's just a really cute, funny little things that happens. At one point, Harold has to put his head in the cage because Chester is like, pull the rabbit out. And his head gets stuck. And you can't get under there. It's too small. Why don't you lay down? Go get some food or water. Why are you yelling? I love you. I don't know what's going on with him. He's just yelling. Go lay down on the couch. I'll be there soon. A few chapters of Chester trying to make the family understand that Bunnicula is bad, which Bunnicula is not bad. And Harold finally is like, okay, like goes over and he's looking at the bunny. And Chester had been left outside for a few days because he had caused a whole bunch of havoc in the house. And Mrs. Monroe was like, no, we're done with you right now. You can go sit on the porch. And Harold started going over and talking to the bunny every day and trying to, let it know that, he's a friend. He's sorry about Chester. He just doesn't know what's gotten into Chester. And he realizes that, the Bunnicula is looking kind of sickly, and he like tries to bark to alert the family. And the only person that comes when he starts barking is one of those boys, the little boys of the family. And he's like, "Oh, you want to play with Bunnicula? Okay, hold on." And he like yells for his mom. He's like, "Mom, can Harold play with Bunnicula?" And the mom's like, "No, not while we're not in there." And he's like, "Sorry, bud, I tried." And Harold sees that, there's a big salad on the table, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get the bunny carefully and carry it in to the salad bowl before, like, once everyone is not in the kitchen, before dinner, whenever they're all washing up." And he's like, "Okay, this is gonna work." And just early, like, just about that time, Chester is let back into the house. "You can't get up there, Keller. The ledge is too small." And he sees Harold taking putting the bunny down, and there's this whole chaos of jumping and bouncing, and Chester gets in trouble for that too, because he's caught covered in salad dressing. And then the next night, is the last night, and that's when Chester drags the steak that you eat, because he read in the book that you're supposed to pound a steak into the vampire's heart. Oh no, the salad thing happens before or after that. Yeah. So the steak happens before the salad. And after the salad stuff, poor Chester is covered in dressing, and one of the boys is like, "Oh, there's something wrong with Bunnicula." And she's like, "Okay, we're gonna take everyone to the vet tomorrow." She's like, "Something's going on with the cat. The rabbit is sick, and Harold just needs his checkup, maybe some shots." And the vet actually sent Chester to a psychiatrist, yeah. And the psychiatrist's name is Dr. Katz, like Katz. Anyway, super cute book. A lot happens in the 98 pages that I didn't tell you about, but it is so good and it's so cute, and I definitely recommend this for adults or for teenagers or preteens. And like I said, I read it to my 5-year-old because I could change some of the words, but for the most part, I don't see a problem with it. The further you get into the book, the meaner Chester gets, because he's lack of sleep and all that stuff. So I think like I said, the worst thing I think he says is idiot. This is the picture of Chester trying to stake Bunnicula. And Harold is reading the book to see what he's doing, and he even says, I think he's like, steak, not steak. There's even one part in dog form. While Chester is doing what he's trying to do, because Chester's like, you read the book, tell me what to do. And he's like, why don't I hold the steak and you read the book? He said with a mouth watering. Mm. It's just funny. Anyway, a good book. I recommend you read it. Let me know if you've read this book and tell me your thoughts in the description, or no, in the comments. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you heard my cat in the background yelling his head off, I have no idea. I even stopped to go and make sure his box was clean, that he has food and water. It's probably because the sun moved and from his favorite sunning spot. Oh no, now he is trying to get outside. He's an indoor cat. He doesn't like to get dirty. I don't know. I do not understand my cat. He's old. Anyway, comment below if you've read this book, and do you have a cat that's crazy like mine? Like, not as crazy as Chester. I actually had a bunny while I had him, and they were besties. Keller, I'm not opening the door. You're an indoor cat. Yeah, my cat's crazy. He he used to only meow whenever I was making videos. That box has shoes in it. You can't get in it. Why don't you go play in the box that doesn't have anything in it that's for you? Anyway, and subscribe if you want to subscribe. If you're not sure if you want to subscribe, you can go check out my channel and see if I'm someone you like to watch. If not, that's cool. But you made it this far, so might as well subscribe and share this video, because sharing is caring, and someone else might need to know about the vampire bunny, Bunnicula. I will see you on my next video. Bye!